So, we've had Nathan Petrelli from Heroes on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and now we have Peter Petrelli on Gotham. It really is Marvel versus DC, isn't it? Hey everybody, this is David, and today I'm going to be talking about Gotham, episode 19, Beasts of Prey, which is clearly a, play on words of Birds of Prey. For those of you that don't know the comics, Birds of Prey is where Oracle, who is also known as Barbara Gordon, the Huntress, and Black Canary team up to form a team, and they're usually associated with Batman, mostly because Barbara's part of that team. So yeah, I'm guessing it's a play on words on that. So with that being said, what did I think of tonight's episode, which, we've been gone for an entire month, so it's nice to be back. I'm gonna say it's nice to be back, especially with all the weirdness that's been going on with the show, and thank God we have no Barbara tonight. That was a nice relief, and but this episode still had a few problems. I'll probably get into them when I talk about them, so let us begin. First, let us begin with Fish Mooney. What is she doing? She's trying to escape from this asylum, from the evil clutches of the doll Mocker. And yes, she is rallying her boys together and trying to escape. She's forming an escape plan with these guys. And obviously, eventually, she does escape by, She actually gets her men out of prison. They beat the doll Mocker, and she escapes on the helicopter with those men. She betrayed them, and all her men, except for one went with her inside the helicopter, and they flew off, the two of them, when the rest of her men were getting shot down by the security. But she gets shot just before she can escape, and now she's bleeding internally, it looks like. Will she survive? Who knows? But some of that stuff was okay to me. I didn't mind the Fish Mooney storyline that was going on. I knew that she would eventually escape. I didn't think it was going to be this episode, so that's really nice. That's really good that she escaped. I am looking forward to seeing if she'll survive, especially since we know that Jada Pinkett Smith has said that her contract expires after the end of this season, and it seems like she won't be returning for season 2. We also get Bruce investigating for Alfred's, stabbing in the last episode. His friend, Alfred's friend, stabbed him, and yeah, Alfred's, Bruce is looking for evidence, or looking for why was Alfred stabbed? Why did this guy stab him? And he finds him eventually and interrogates him with Selina. Selina helps him in today's episode. So it's always cool to see those two together, because I think there's some good chemistry between them. And yeah, we see Bruce interrogating this guy. Like, yeah, you remember me? You might have, you might have beaten me in a sword fight last time. But guess what? Now I got you, and you know what? We're going to take something precious from you and hold it out the window, which is kind of cool, because it kind of shows Bruce's interrogation skills that he'll need in the future when becoming Batman. Of course, he's not going to be holding... I thought he would have, hold onto him out the window and have him hanging there, but obviously he's a kid and that wouldn't be believable. But I guess getting something precious of his, made more sense, and having Selina hold it out and saying, hey, look, we're going to drop it. But what does Selina do in, good fashion Catwoman sense? She decides to drop it because, she's freaking Selina Kyle. And, Selina can be a little bit of a, bee. And so the guy goes out to the windowsill and tries to grab the thing that Selina dropped. And Bruce, he gets the urge that, he wants to push this guy out the window. But then he doesn't. He backs off. And what does Selina do? Of course, she knocks him out. And I just laughed. I had to. I thought it was great. I like the Selina Kyle character. I think she's a great character. And Bruce is a good character, too. I do feel, once again, I feel like their development is going maybe a little bit too fast, especially Bruce. I feel like Selena was like that in the beginning of the series, so it's like not too much of a departure from her character already. But Bruce has definitely changed a lot faster than he should have. But we don't know how far this show is gonna go, so maybe they have a plan for Bruce, and who knows. But I feel like the development of a lot of these characters sometimes are way too advanced, or maybe that no, not even way too advanced. They're all a little bit jumbled here and there. Some characters, which I'll get to one of them eventually. Meanwhile, Gordon also takes up a murder case from a fellow police officer who, mysteriously just hands it over to him and says, "Hey, Gordon, do you think you can look up?" And at first I did think it was like a little suspicious. Like, why is this guy all of a sudden just giving Gordon this file to look into? Especially it sounded reasonable the way he worded it, and so Gordon decides to, you know what? Yeah, maybe I will look into this case. It sounds like an interesting case. So he goes to Leslie, who I think has better chemistry with Gordon than Barbara ever did. And I love it when Barbara's not here. She annoys the shit out of me. And he goes to Bullock also for a little bit of help. And Bullock, at first says, "I don't know about this. I think we should leave it. I don't want to do this." But then in good old-fashioned Bullock way, Bullock decides to, what the hell? Let's go solve this case. And we learn that this murder, mystery was all caused by this person nicknamed the Ogre, played by Milo Ventimiglia, who a lot of you might remember it from Heroes as Peter Petrelli. He played Peter Petrelli in Heroes. Yeah, it was great seeing him in this episode because he was really creepy. I really liked him in this role. Like, he was a creepy ass villain. And obviously he's not done yet because Gordon's not done solving this case, and it seems really cool where they're gonna go. Because we've only seen him in flashbacks in this episode, though, when he was murdering the people, the women that he was bringing in and then killing them later on. But like the way he was acting, like, oh man, it gave me the chills just watching him, and it makes me wonder, why isn't this guy getting more work? He needs to be in big features because he's a good actor. I'm gonna admit that. In my opinion, he's a really good actor, and he really played up the creepy vibe in this episode, which I really enjoyed. After some investigating, we find out that Gordon was set up on this assignment not by accident. This was on purpose, and from Loeb. Loeb told that police officer to give this assignment to Gordon because, Gordon can figure it out. But it's a very dangerous assignment when they realize who the Ogre is and what kind of person he is. And Gordon, the man that he is, man, I love this scene. It was right at the very end. Gordon goes up to Loeb and says, "You know what? After I'm done finishing this case, I'm coming right after you." And it was such like, man, I love Gordon, man. He's so badass, and Ben McKenzie does such a terrific job. Sometimes the writers of this show get some things right, but then there's some things that they get wrong. And one of them, for an example, I'm going to get to right now is, Edward Nygma. Edward Nygma had a little role in tonight's episode, but every time they do, I notice, it's like his character doesn't go anywhere. And there's been a few episodes where it seemed like his character was going somewhere, but then it seems like now it isn't, because if you really look back at the very first episode, his character is exactly the same. His character hasn't changed at all. His character hasn't had any growth. And they keep doing these little inside references and inside jokes that he's going to be the Riddler one day. I mean, like, yeah, we get it. We get he's going to be the Riddler one day. But it's starting to get to that where it's starting to get a little bit cliched, I feel. And some people might feel different, but I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same, because I know a lot of people have been. It's like whenever in Smallville, they always winked to the camera, not literally, but they always, did little inside jokes that one day he'll become Superman, like, hey, Clark, you look good with those glasses. Wink, come on, guys. You don't need to, like, press hard on us. We get it. He's the Riddler. He's going to be the Riddler one day. We also get the Penguin in this episode, who is getting ready, because it looks like I didn't know what was going on at first. Like, why is he at this cafe trying to make this deal with this woman? And then we find out at the end of the episode that all of this was to start setting up his plan to kill Maroni. That's going to be really interesting how he's going to do that, especially since Maroni at this point does not trust him one bit. But okay, I'll go for it. I want to see Penguin take over, because he's clearly going to be the first big established Batman villain on this show. And I think out of all these characters, him, Bullock, and Gordon are the best three characters on the show. And if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Penguin, because I think he's on an incredible journey right now. He's like in the middle of all this shenanigans, and it's great to see him rise to the top. I want to see him. He's the one that has had the most growth, I feel. He started off as this henchman of Fish Mooney, and he's been growing into power since. I'm also going to note that this episode felt a lot more campier to me than the usual episode. I could be wrong. Maybe many episodes have been this campy before, and I just only started to realize it now. But yeah, I felt there was a real campiness to it that, like, kind of, I'm like thinking, are they even taking this show seriously anymore? Like, if I've always felt like there were these serious moments, like at the very end of the episode, there was that really cool confrontation between Gordon and Loeb that I felt was like dramatic and really strong. But then there are these campy moments, like especially with the moments with Penguin and Fish, and every time Edward Nygma is on screen, he's always campy. He's always been that type of character, though. But I noticed even with Fish today, it seemed a little bit campy at times. I could be wrong, and I don't know. But if anyone feels the same, let me know. Comment below. So guys, with that being all said, I thought it was an okay episode. I thought it was good. Nice return back. The campiness, I'm complaining about the campiness, but at the same time, I think it gives the show its charm. I think I enjoy the campiness somewhat. It just feels kind of disjointed sometimes, because you're seeing these nice dramatic moments, but then you're seeing these campiness moments which feel kind of cartoony from time to time. That's just me, though. I know some people might feel different. And, but for the most part, I enjoyed the episode. It was a good episode. It's not the worst episode they've done. And 7 out of 10, not bad. You'll know if it's an episode that bores me or something if it's below a 7. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the last 3 episodes, I guess, and hopefully it's all good from here, because I'm curious to see how it will all end, for sure. So until next time, guys, take care.